going to be talking about our 1-ton swap kits, kind of specifically for the JK. We've had a lot of customers over the course of the week kind of ask us a bunch of questions, and we just wanted to make sure that we're getting everything covered for you guys. So on the front end of the Jeep here, this one specifically is our JK, or is a JK, excuse me. And this front axle is going to be a 2005 plus Super Duty 60 axle. This is going to be the Jeep of one of our R&D managers, Sam. Sam has here paired with our high steer arms, well done high steer arms, as well as our 3-link kit. So when you're setting up your front axle of your JK, you really want to make sure you think about a couple different um, situations of what you want to do and how you want to set it up. So we'll have trusses and swap kits for coilovers or ORI struts, or we're going to have it just kind of your traditional shock and coil sprung vehicle. So this is exactly what Sam has here. As you can see here, this top cap has a link mount on top. This is because Sam had just a traditional rock crawler mid arm on the front. Super rad, super cool. I went out riding with him one day, and drove fantastic, drove phenomenal. Then he recently swapped over to our 3-link kit. And he was able to do that because this truss didn't change. He didn't have to get a new axle. He didn't have to cut off the truss. He didn't have to do anything different. He basically just dropped this driver's side arm and then went and got our Apex specific 1-ton swap bracket, cut everything, trimmed everything, made everything look good. He got the frame side bracket, he got the cross member, and then everything was ready to rock and roll from there on. So here, Sam has our weld-on high steer arms for these Super Duty knuckles. These are going to be great because one, they're going to be kind of like a double shear setup. It's going to be super strong, super awesome. We do have a DIY steering kit that you guys can get for these vehicles. You'll just basically, measure it up, trim it down, and we'll have the 7/8 Heims and 3/4 inch bolts to use for those kits. If you want to upgrade to a different steering setup, kind of like a reed knuckle, we will have a steering kit specific for those reed knuckles. You'll have the reed steering. You'll have the reed knuckle over on the driver's side, which will have our high steer arm on that side, and we'll use 7075 aluminum midsections on the drag link and the tie rod paired with steer smarts rod ends. With this, something else that we've had a lot of questions about is that the JKs, JK, JL, and JT have a 52-tooth tone ring, and that's how the ABS system works properly. The JK chassis is extremely sensitive when it comes to making sure that the ABS system works. If you lose one out of the 4 ABS sensors, you're going to be fine. You might get a dash light, you might lose cruise control, but for the most part, you'll be okay. Once you lose 2 of them, that's where you're going to get into limp mode. That's where you're not going to have a fun time. You're going to be limited to like 10 miles an hour. So the front of a Super Duty has a 60-tooth tone ring. Cool thing is, if you have a 99 to 04, we do have a tone ring specific for that unit bearing, and we'll have a unit bearing tool. That way you can open it up, throw in that 52-tooth tone ring, and then go in the back and pair up the rear axle with a 52-tooth. Curry actually also makes a unit bearing for the 99 to 04 axles. So if you want to kind of just upgrade everything, make everything super clean, you'll be able to go to Curry, get that unit bearing, throw everything on, plug in your ABS wires, you're ready to rock. Now let's go to the back of the Jeep where Sam has a 14 bolt. Specifically, which year he got 14 bolt, not 100% sure, but our 14 bolts work with the 99 to 2007 gas 2500 GM truck axles. A lot of people say, "Oh, I want to get the diesel because it has that bigger tube." Yes, bigger tube, stronger, absolutely. But our truss is going to be set up for that 3.5-inch axle tube. Still extremely strong. It's going to be a great axle. Everything's going to be awesome with that. Now, one of the big things with this is we will have a 60-tooth or a 52-tooth tone ring for this axle. Something that Jeremy and I really push is for our customers to use a 60-tooth tone ring, excuse me. The reason why we say use a 60 tooth instead of a 52 tooth is because that way, once you put the 60 tooth in this axle, it's going to match the front of the Super Duty. That way, you go into any programming that you have, or if you have the JScan app on your phone, you'll be able to go into the ABS readings, change the rear axle to 60 tooth, and then do a couple mathematical equations to figure out what tire size and what gear ratio you'll be running um, in those axles as well. What else we want to cover? What else we want to talk about? Yeah, as you can see here, Sam, still running rock crawler springs, Falcon shocks, and he actually even has the OE control arms. So yeah, you will be able to use the OE control arms in your Jeep. It's not necessarily recommended, just because that way you'll be able, if you went with a mid arm kit or a long arm kit, you'll be able to adjust the pinion angle. Make sure your geometry is all good with that. Another thing to think about, and now this isn't anything that we make as a company, but it's just something to think about. The rear axle, the rear bolt pattern on the 14 bolt is going to be 8 by 6.5. The front is going to be 8 by 170. So you will have to get spacer adapters, or drill out the hubs on the 14 bolt to match the front of the Super Duty, or vice versa. If you want to stick with an 8 by 6.5, then you'll just drill out the front. Or if you wanted to go to like an 8 by 170, you'll just drill out the rear. Yeah, that is pretty much it with our Super Duty and 14 bolt swaps with the JK. If you have any questions about this, don't be afraid to call into Jeremy and I. We love talking to you guys about everything. Like always, let us know if you guys need anything. Oh, and we're also going to have if you're local or if your drive isn't too far, remember, we do have our open house event Saturday, December 7th, from 11 to 4. So if you guys want to stop by, hang out with us, come on over. Well, happy to help you guys. Have a good one.